The Romans called it heads or ships. In 2024, the most famous version is the coin toss at the start of a Super Bowl.
Toss the coin. It is tails. Kansas City has won the toss.
But the result of tossing a coin in the air seems pretty simple, right? Heads or tails, 50-50 odds. Or is it? This is a story of a CUNY graduate who became a MacArthur Fellow and who has spent his life studying math and performing magic in order to explore questions of probability, like the simple coin toss.
So for many people, me in particular, viscerally, this is as close to a random phenomena as I know.
For Pepsi Diaconis, probability is like the laws of motion to Isaac Newton, or general relativity to Einstein. It is the core of his being. The coin toss is one of many problems he has studied over his career as a mathematician. For the coin toss problem, he and his collaborators did find a kind of solution to the question of heads or tails.
When you do the math, that small changes in initial conditions make for the difference between heads and tails. We showed that coins, the way real people flip them, it's about 0.51. It's not 0.51 to heads or tails, it's 0.51 that it comes up the way it started. That is, if you started heads up, it spends more time heads up. So it's better if you see it's heads, it's better to guess heads.
This answer, which took years to determine, is the type of mathematical analysis Pepsi Diaconis has engaged in over a 60-plus year career looking at randomness. But what brought him to math? Magic. One might say Persi's early life was a random sequence of events. Persi was born in New York City in 1945 and learned card tricks at an early age. He spent time as a youth at Tannen's Magic Store in Times Square, the home for magicians in New York, and learned card tricks there. This was later recounted in a book he co-authored called Magical Mathematics.
A 13-year-old boy slowly opens the door to the world's largest magic shop. It's 2 in the afternoon, and the boy has cut school making the trip on New York's grimy subways. The shop is Louis Tannen's Magic Emporium at 42nd Street and 6th Avenue in New York's Times Square. Not the usual street-level shop with doggy-doo and plastic vomit in the window. Tannen's is on the 12th floor of the Wurlitzer building. You have to know about it to find your way in.
He met Di Vernon, a famous sleight of hand expert at the store, and decided at the age of 14 to leave home and join him on the road under the name Percy Warren.
One day he called me up and said, "I'm going to Delaware tomorrow. Do you want to go?" And I said, "Tomorrow?" I was 14. And he said, "Yeah." I said, "I'd love to go."
Percy worked in small towns, in clubs and hotels and on ships, where he honed the craft of card sharking.
4 jacks.
Percy once said, "We found crooked gamblers to learn their techniques. There are often tricky probability questions involved. I didn't have much probabilistic intuition and made every boneheaded mistake you could make. During 10 years on the road, I learned the hard way." But Percy still had a yearning for education, so he enrolled in evening classes at City College, paid for by poker games. At City College, he earned his bachelor's degree in math, under the tutelage of Hironari Onishi, among others. He was referred to Harvard by famed mathematician Martin Gardner, who said of Percy, "This young student is one of the best card mechanics in the country." Percy was accepted into Harvard and earned his PhD. Soon afterwards, he was hired at the Stanford University, where he has been ever since.
A question is, how many times do you have to shuffle a deck of cards to mix it up? I mean by shuffling, probably what you mean by shuffling. You cut them about in half, you go like that, and you push them together, right? And how many times do you have to do that till the cards get all mixed up? Let's do it for a second. Suppose I cut them exactly in half. 26, 26. Well, then half the time I drop the first card from my left hand. Now this only has 25 cards left, so the chance I drop the next card from my left hand...
One of Percy's major contributions to both math and magic was determining how to shuffle a card deck. The number of arrangements that a deck of cards be shuffled into are indeed astronomical. The math goes like this. 52 values for the first card, times 51 values for the second card, times 50 for the third, and on down to 1. Math says there are as many possible arrangements in a deck of cards as there are atoms on Earth. But Persi's study of the randomness of card shuffling was so influential, it led to changes in how casinos shuffle cards.
So the answer is about 7.
Some of his other breakthroughs include the law of truly large numbers, which states that eventually any highly implausible result will happen, like winning the lottery, and advances on the Markov chain. The Markov chain is a mathematical principle that states any repeated action is only dependent on the current state of the thing, not its history. Markov chains are used in the stock market and in Google search algorithms. For example, when you type in the search box and it autofills for you, this is a Markov chain. The algorithm is using the current state of the words to predict the next ones.
I've spent years analyzing the basic images of randomness that we have. Coin tossing, shuffling cards, flipping tacks, rolling roulette balls.
Persi won the MacArthur Award in 1982 for his work on randomness. He's been awarded numerous awards and honorary degrees since.
What I began this talk by saying was I was going to try to tell you that you could find math any place, and I did really find it in two of the most humdrum day-to-day things, shuffling cards and adding numbers. You really can find math any place. Of course, the real reason for who cares is sometimes the math is beautiful. I hope I convinced you of that. Thank you.